morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on yet another episode of the Import Export Advisory Series. Now, we have come back afresh. We call ourselves a little different. We brand ourselves Exim Stories. Fundamentally, because we are bringing in all the dope that is in the Import Export series. So that's what we call ourselves. Now, this is the 26th episode, and in this episode, we are coming back with something very different. Now, we are talking about hard truths about cost savings in the export to the export manufacturer. Sorry, a little, so I got a little confused. But we are back to the normal panel. We have CA Meenal Butch talking to us today, and I will be the one who is interviewing. So, Meenal, welcome back to our normal self. The celebrities
Thank you.
are done. I don't know when the next celebrity is coming.
Yes.
So, all right. Now, before we get deep into this, right? So, what are the real things that worry a export manufacturer? Just two or three sentences, please.
So normally the pain areas, what I've understood is since the global market is the competition, they have to compete on a global level, and therefore one of the major challenges they face is the pricing. And again, China being the correct no competitor, which draws us in a big way. So in that context, at times for many products it is difficult for us to compete. However, the things are evolving, changing. We are also trying to be competitive by quality, etc. But the fact remains, irrespective of any country, pricing is the biggest challenge which any international player has to look into and weave as a part of their international business strategy, depending on the regions.
Sure. Okay. Now, in your practical experience, can you share, say, three pointers to which Indian exporters may lay down their monies for?
So this has happened like n number of times in our practical. We have seen that lot of Indian exporter manufacturers keep money on the table, in the sense that they are the monies which are available to them either in the form of any kind of benefit are there untouched and not taken by them. So there are three major reasons according to me, which uh, which because of which such situation arise. One is the lack of the awareness in the international in the minds of the international exporters, Indian exporters, that what is available to them, how they should look into the policy, how they should implement it for their business. So, first and the foremost is the lack of awareness on the subject, detailed understanding. How do we make the most of it? The second is leveraging the technology part in their international business supply chain overall. This is second. And the third is doing right things at the right time. Because what normally happens is, even if you know something, but if you are unable to implement it in the right way, in the right time, then again you tend to lose out on the cost. You may pay additional cost, and all those things comes up. So the three quick takeaways: lack of awareness on the subject, like the reasons which I'm talking, lack of awareness in the overall international domain. Of course, things are improving as the times are coming up. Even if you know something, but if you are unable to implement it, right? And the second is leveraging the technology. So if you leverage the technology, integrate the technology in your international business supply chain, starting from your procurement to the final dispatch, I think lot can be done to save the monies, like the on the documentation side, on the logistics side, because technology has a big role to play in your entire supply chain. And the last is doing right things at the right time. So how do you identify? Of course, that is a matter of experience and understanding of the domain. But that these are the three things which, because of which the international exporters lay so much of money on the table, which you cannot even imagine. And the worst part is they are not even aware that
Yeah,
okay, crores of money is something which they could have saved, but no, they can't.
all right. Now, if anybody has to do all this and if they have to save that amount of money, they should be planning. So, when do you think this planning stage starts for exporters or importers?
Very good question, because if at least, you know, irrespective of whether they have knowledge or awareness or not, but at least any person working in this domain, they should at least know where to look into and when to look into. So,
Correct.
one is when you are looking for newer markets in the in the international business, that is the time you should start looking at that okay, what best can be done as a part of my cost saving strategy, and what benefits can be availed. So if you are looking to explore newer markets, that is the time. This is one point. Second point is where even in your ongoing operations, like even if you are catering to the current market wherever you are, like for example you are supplying in the Latin American region or African region, still keeping a track on a routine basis is very important. And the third and the most important is if you are looking to expand your manufacturing base in India, even at that point. So if you're procuring a lot of if you're doing a lot of capital investments in your plant and machinery, to cope up with the international standards, either for the quality or to match up the volumes, even at that point of time, it is equally important to look into such areas which we have discussed. So overall, any person into international business, international exports particularly, uh, when they are looking to explore the newer markets, when they are even in their ongoing business operation, the last and the most critical, I would say, when they're looking to expand their manufacturing base, either by way of procurement in the from the local market or by importing the same, the capital goods. So these are the three critical areas again which they should start looking at, and things will eventually fall in place once they at least make a beginning. So no, there's a quote which says good beginning is half done. So at least if you begin with something and start thinking in this direction, I'm sure it will lead you to something much better which you have not even thought of.
Great. Now, can you share an example of some kind of exporter who has saved a lot of money following these rules and procedures?
Oh wow, this is my favorite part because every day, when we deal with lot many exporters, importers, no, they share their experiences after implementing the things and how they've said. But I would like to highlight one story here. This happened way back 3 4 years, like during the COVID times. So everything
Okay.
was online. No, we were just so some friend of ours introduced us to somebody, and this was a small medium manufacturer exporter doing exports across the world, and they were also imported a lot of capital goods in the past. So we did entire kind of a health check review. So we understood their business in detail. So they were like, okay, if there's something, it is, it would be good for me. Otherwise, it is fine. So this gentleman was very nice, very quite like seasoned player. Now this again, if you look at the size of the company, this was no small medium enterprise, but an upcoming growing company. The promoter of the company was again very very senior person. This company was almost is a listed company, and it was almost 50 60 year old company. So it was not something that somebody is very nascent in this field and they were trying to find new things, but this I'm talking about a seasoned entrepreneur, exporter, importer, manufacturer. So then we understood their business, we highlighted few areas, and then the shocking part was, so they had already done some capex in the past. where because they were not aware about lot of understanding of the policies of foreign trade and the customs and all, they actually paid lot of duties. Almost, so we did this review around in 2022, 2021. It was all happening virtual. So almost few years, like 3 4 years back, when we started this review, so must be around in 2018 19, they did lot of imports, and huge imports, which they were paid duties entirely. And I can't reveal the name and the numbers because we have signed an NDA, but just to give an idea that it was almost a huge chunk running into crores of rupees, the duty amount which they could have easily saved. So then the good thing was we entered at the right time, because they were also going to incur a lot of capex from the domestic purchases from the import side, and we helped them save their entire the duty portion on their imports, the capex, even their local purchases of the capital goods. So overall their balance sheet, the profitability improved, because no straight away 30% savings which they were not aware of. No, we also implemented it. Their machines got imported, everything was exempted, things happened very smoothly. So this was one big area which they had missed out. Again, the second big area which they were missed out was a lot of procedural part. No, we have discussed in our prior podcast about AEO, Authorized Economic Operator Program. Again, this has not gained too much of what I would like to say.
Team
Much
or
of, yes,
recognition.
actually, yeah. Which every importer exporter should be knowing the benefits of it. So maybe they must have heard what AEO is, but actually the benefit, you can reduce the lead time on the imports, the export side, even the international recognition in the European markets or the developed countries also. You get a good recognition. So this was suggested. Again, there were lots of gaps in terms of documentation, the systems side, and also so there were a lot of other benefits which they were already aware. This is very interesting to note. So this happens many a times. Lot of people are aware that okay, this is there. There is some X duty drawback, road tax, but again, there is not much attention paid to whether that amount received is the right amount or not. And even on those aspects, they were losing out on lakhs of rupees. And this has happened again in few other cases as well. That see, knowing is one thing, and implementing that thing in your organization is a separate thing. I think that needs to be understood very very much in depth. Like अगर if I relate this to ज्ञान वाली बात, so knowing, and so उसको बोलते हैं बुद्धि विलास. I've caught this word from Vipassana. There was our guru, he suggested that unless you implement those things, it is just buddhi vilas, right? So we did so this is what happening at many places in a routine scenario, that they may not be knowing 4 5 general 10 things as an exporter, but they really don't know whether that is imbibed, inculcated in the systems of the organizations or not. So a big blow to that client, that because he was not expecting such kind of benefits which he had thought of, and so things turned very positive for them. So this is what I was trying to highlight, that when I share that in the initial part, lack of awareness, the key reasons, why the import exporter manufacturer lay so much money, like one is lack of awareness, usage of technology, and doing right things at the right time. So even if you know, and if you do not implement it, it's just buddhi vilas to me, no. So this is it, like and there are many such cases, but yes, ultimately they saved huge money. Unfortunately, at that year they were making some losses, but then because of this crores of money not being paid, exempted, they at least turned out to be cash positive, and also
Yeah,
profits positive. That was virtual. So after implementation next year, when we did that review, we found that their balance sheets also turned out to be positive. So
obviously.
it just doesn't have impact. on this one particular transaction, but it impacts your overall business as a whole.
True.
And then this company actually did lot of good exports thereafter, and they are flourishing like anything right now.
Yeah. So you get into business to make money, and if you stay foolish not to know what provisions you have and end up paying money you don't have to pay, it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So, dear exporters, if you need to know how to make money, it's not good enough. Your tax and compliance charges are so heavy that all your profits can disappear in one transaction. So, the
True.
best thing you need to do is have a good advisor who knows the import export law, understand the provisions that the governments provide you to make money. And if you are willfully and blissfully ignorant,
Ignorant.
and if you remain to say so, nobody can help you. You don't deserve to be in business, actually. So I would say that it is always good to know the legal angle of what you do, the compliance, and the government usually does what is good for you. So it is not necessarily leeching away money from you, but it is actually doing things that work for you. Yes, no system is perfect, but they are trying to get there. So it is our duty to make sure of availing whatever good we can. And the government should not lament saying that हमने इतना benefit दिया है, but nobody came to pick it up, right? So
I can take a separate session on this. There was one policy in MAI had inquired for one of our client, and this lady in the Export Promotion Council said that no, this budget was allocated, but since nobody knew or inquired about it, got lapsed.
wow, wow, okay, all right. India is
There are
always a
a
bag
lot
of
of such things.
paradoxes.
Yeah, a lot of such things. Yeah.
All right. So, people, I think this is a very short session. There were some very important insights that I had to gain, so I pose the questions. But this is not the end of the story. You know where to reach us. You have Meenal on LinkedIn. Please pose your questions to her straight, or you can use the page of announcement page of this event to pose your questions. We will look into them and get back to you with the best possible answers to the best of our knowledge. And we'll come back to you with a session on import export again next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Until then, you stay safe and have a
One
lovely week ahead.
one quote I would like to end with. No,
Sure.
for any exporter, if they just understand this line, goods should be exported and not the taxes. I think lot is taken care of. It's just one line which defines the entire summary of what we discussed today in 15 minutes.
Wow, I think you should make that your hook for the next article you post.
Yes. Yeah.
Super. Thanks, Meenal. So we'll come back next week, and until then, all of you stay safe, and we'll let you know of the topic very soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.